Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Play back. Yes.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
It's Hollywood.
Tell the truth.
Our favorite movies.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
It's all about that money.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
That's right. All right. All right,
Tell the
everybody.
truth.
Peace. Peace to you. Thank you for being here today. The way I want to do this stream, because I know this story was out there for quite some time. And this was a story about Jonathan Majors that I wanted to get into a long time ago, but there were other topics that I got into. And so what I want to do today is have as much participation from the audience. So I will be reading a lot of your messages in the chat room, your chats, and getting your opinion. So this will be an opinion-driven show today. Let me do this to make sure that people are liking the video. So let's run that poll and have you hit the likes. You know what I'm saying? And let's see if we can get that up there as a reminder to people. I appreciate everyone that's here today. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live today or not because I did that big show the other day about you know who. But I said, hey, you know, this is a topic that I wanted to talk about that I have not touched on. And I know it's been, you know, it's these kind of topics are always time sensitive, but really it's still in time because the verdict is still out on what really went down. Now, let's look at here. I want to preface you all in the chat room before I get your thoughts. And that is here. Jonathan Majors has been pretty hot lately, right? He played in Kane. He's been in the MCU of the Marvel universe. He was in the movie that I liked him in was Last Black Men in San Francisco, because literally there's no black people in San Francisco. Literally and figuratively, we are disappearing. The brother has had a hot year. He's played in Creed. Of course, a lot of us took aim at this portrayal of him in the Ebony magazine. I don't know what's happened to Ebony magazine over the years in the way they have assy West to this culture, this weird culture, this weird stuff we got going on out here. Now, a lot of people, whether you agree with this or not, when he was dressed like this, they said that they were trying to do a takeoff from anime. Anime is very popular with this generation, and that what he was portraying was a anime character that's very highly popular with that outfit on. But I still had my problems with this. And I still had my problems with Ebony. Now, they were saying, well, he was dressed in pink and he had the roses because of Valentine's Day. Now, as you can see, the brother is in great shape, great physique, works out. You can see on this picture here, If you look to the right side of this picture here, you could tell he was in the early stages of bulking his body up. Smaller and younger looking cat right there. One of the things about Hollywood that I've talked to you all about when you've come to my channel is that they can only blow up one black man or black woman at a time. They can't let all of us be very hot in Hollywood, right? And there's people who believe that in Hollywood there are rituals that you must engage in Hollyweird. Let's say that Hollyweird, that there are rituals in Hollyweird that you engage in when you become successful. So we have been conditioned to believe that when a black person gains success in entertainment, is because they've done some blood sacrifice or some ritual. They've, in the case of Kanye West, and even Kanye West said himself that he sacrificed his mother. So we do equate success for black people. And I think it comes down to this psychologically, putting my clinician's hat on right now. Psychologically, black people, psychologically, based on what happened to us in this country and religion that teaches us that we must suffer to gain success. You can't have success without there being some suffering, some tried and trial. So we actually project the suffering ideology as black people because of slavery, Jim Crow, that black people, we have to come out of some struggle to gain success. And that when we are believers of the Bible, we've been conditioned and culturally conditioned, and we've read this, that Jesus sacrificed himself for us to save our sins. So I believe when we think about rituals in Hollywood, that every time a black person becomes successful, this is my hypothesis, that when a black person becomes successful, we say that it's a blood sacrifice. They had to give up a family member. They had to cut off a limb. They have to endow themselves in Satanism and what have you, in symbolisms. We fail to realize that a lot of our ideology around these issues come from the fact that black people in general, we have been culturally conditioned by the fact that you never are successful again unless you sacrifice something and you give your life to something in order to gain success. Other groups of people don't teach their children and do not get conditioned by that. Other groups of people will simply say, I'm successful because I worked hard. But we see anyone, whether it be Hollywood, they're making a lot of money, they must be doing something. They must be bent over and someone must be doing something sexual to them, or they must have to give up something of some sacrifice. And so I know there's people out there that are saying, well, Jonathan Majors was hot and maybe this is his sacrifice for all the success that he's had. And the sacrifice is that now he must submit himself to being seen as a predator by assaulting his girlfriend. Ask yourself, why would any man of intelligence want to put that label on himself when the minute you put that label on yourself, that's the end of your movies, that's the end of your TV appearances. And matter of fact, he had a campaign for the army and they've now taken him out of the campaign. So why would he do that? Or the other theory could be maybe Jonathan Majors was just too good for his britches. The Negro has gotten big. We got to tear him down. Now, you can make an argument that Michael B. Jordan has been rising. His star has been rising up because Michael B. Jordan, remember, Michael B. Jordan got a star on the Walk of Fame. That's the Walk of Fame in Los Angeles. And he had his buddy there, Jonathan Majors, supporting him. Why hasn't Michael B. Jordan been knocked down a bit? Where is his sacrifice? Why have they not come for him first? Why did they come for Jonathan Majors first? If you believe, ladies and gentlemen, in these theories that to be successful as a we do it to black people. To be successful as a black person, it has to be because you gave some sacrifice. You notice we don't say that about the white entertainers when they get themselves in trouble. When they get themselves in trouble, and it's been a whole bunch of them, Harvey, a bunch of Hollywood directors that have gotten themselves in trouble. Why is it, I'm asking that question, I want people to answer that question in the chat room. Why is it when black people get themselves in trouble in entertainment, sports, or what have you, we say very quickly, it's the sacrifice for having the success that you have in Hollywood or in sports or whatever endeavor that we in, that we must have given our life to the devil. We're a part of some secret society. And I always thought that was interesting when people say secret societies and then people know so much about secret societies. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know all the details of a so-called secret society, guess what? Let me let you in on a little bit of secret. It ain't a secret society. Secret societies are societies you know nothing about, you have no connection to. Now, you've had people like Cat Williams, who said in his comedy routine, what's going on, BDBGP, Naps TV, Jackie, Jill's Chocolate, everyone that's here coming in, the beautiful Bernice, love to see you here. Justin, Bob Bowman, Bobby Bowman, what's going on, brother Kendrick? Good to see you over here. Why is it, ladies and gentlemen? Because we have to be honest with our analysis that we don't label white people who have success in entertainment, sports, and what have you. We never talk about these sacrifices. We just say, oh, that's us, because we're culturally conditioned in America to see white is right and black is wrong. And as a manifestation of that cultural conditioning, we'll underestimate, undervalue, and marginalize black people. We see white as superior and black as inferior. So when white people gaining success in any level, we don't automatically run with the theory or the conspiracy theories that, oh, it was a blood sacrifice. That's why their mama died, their brother died, or why they got in trouble because they got accused of some sexual assault or deleting someone. Black people get accused of something, and the first thing that we jump out the window with is, oh, it's his sacrifice for the success he's had. Yet I can name tons of other people who have never. Denzel Washington. Why hasn't Denzel Washington been caught in some scandal? And he's been you can make the argument, the best black male actor. Or maybe Denzel Washington said this to us a long time ago. I go to work, I act, I read my lines, I do my best in becoming a great performer. And then after I do my performance, I go home to my wife. See, he's married. I go home to my wife. Now you may say, well, why did this happen to Jonathan Majors? Is it because he has a white girlfriend? And I know that there's certainly sisters out there that would say, oh, see, that happened to him because he's got the white girlfriend. These black men, they're going to have to learn when they get involved with these white women. This is what can happen to you. Well, we know that historically and effectively, that black men have gone to jail for white women lying and saying that they did something sexually abusive to them, and then it turns out to not be true. Jonathan Majors is saying that I didn't do this. Here's the girlfriend here again. Now you can say, is she doing this to him to get back at him, to get the bag? Why is it that, because usually they say statistically that when a man batters a woman or a woman batters a man, when they do this, it's a repeated behavior and pattern. Let me put this up here for education purposes. Which gender is more likely to be an abuser? What percentage of men? Do you know that a lot of men are abused by women, but men are taught to suck it up and do not report it because it makes you look weak? I'm going to give you some data that's recent data, but there's some data from the past, 2010 coming on up, that about 40%, this one's going to blow you away. And I'm going to drop these in the chat room for your, because I believe in when you give people information, you should also cite your sources and let them know like where they can find the information. Now, a few years back or some years back, The Garden, which is an article, The Garden news, online news article said that more than 40% of domestic violent victims are male. Reports reveal that about 2 in 5 of all victims of domestic violence are men, contradicting the widespread impression that it is almost always women who are left battered and bruised, a new report claimed. This came out back in 2010, but I've got data for net, you see right here on the screen for 2022, the last data. Now, what percentage of men are abused by women? 1 in 6 in 7 men and 1 in 4 women will be a victim of domestic abuse in their lifetime of domestic abuse crime recorded by the police. 26% were committed against men. And that's currently. But when they did the study back in the past, they said that, well, it's actually 40%. What am I getting at? What I'm getting at is that Jonathan Majors has said that he is the victim, that he was not the perpetrator, yet he was the one that was arrested. And come to find out, ladies and gentlemen, as you might have heard and remembered from reports, Jonathan Majors was the one who called the police when this whole situation went down.
Tell the truth.
Now, look at it like this. In general, when there's a domestic dispute between a woman and a man, and I want the ladies to speak to this, when there's a domestic dispute between men and women, 9 out of 10 times the man will be found the aggressor, the man will be arrested, even when he's the one who's called the police. Even if the woman has been the aggressor, we simply see men as aggressors in this society because men are seen as predators, because men are more likely to do things like what? Go out and harm someone, delete someone, go home and delete their family, delete their girlfriend, delete their wife. There's been more incidents in which men, we put out our aggressions through violence. And that has a lot to do with the fact that men have never learned to deal with their feelings and their emotions because we've been told all our life, you must bottle it in. Don't express it. And it, guess what it does? Now it projects out on society. It will project out on your family, putting on my clinician's hat today. My clinician's hat today is a rehab therapist. We project and counter project when we see someone that reminds us of someone that abused us. So a lot of people will say, well, did his girlfriend do this because she knows that he's about to come into a lot of money and she can get the bag on him? You see the money. Is it about the bag? Ladies and gentlemen, you be the guest. You be the almighty guest of this. Is it about the almighty bag? Or then you have to use logic. If he's about to come into big money as his career is starting to take off, he hasn't gotten a big giant contract yet. Then why would the girlfriend do what she did to get a bag off of him when Jonathan Major doesn't even have the bag yet? Just using some logic here. He doesn't have the bag. It's reported that they were in a cab. I hope they come out with a video. The video would exonerate this brother from all charges. But I have to be honest with you. We know that historically, that when white women have said, I've been attacked by this black man, and if the black man is innocent of all behavior, 9 out of 10 times or more, that black man's going to jail regardless because of the way our society is set up socially. Once again, one in 6 and 7 men and women, 4 women will be a victim of domestic violence. As I was reading over here again, and I want you all to hear what I'm saying in the chat room as I'm going to get to your thoughts in just a moment. In years before, when they did studies in years before, we're talking about from 2010 on up, they talked about it being really 40%, that men are assaulted by their partners, are often ignored by the police. Jonathan Major said that he was a victim. Jonathan Major said that he was a victim. Let's get this camera working like it's supposed to. There we go. Jonathan Major said that he was a victim. Keep that in mind. But he was the one that ultimately was arrested. Once again, when men are assaulted by their partners, they are often ignored by the police and see their attacker go free and have far fewer. This is the truth. Far fewer refuge to flee to than women. So when men are the ones being abused by the woman, they have few places that they could flee to for help. There are no programs in place for men that are being abused in our society. This is not to negate the fact that women are far more abused overall than men. And when they are abused, women are more likely to report the abuse and go to programs like shelters for abused women. If I'm not correct, and y'all can correct me, there are no such programs for men because men just don't report these things. And when men have reported these things, they're laughed at. The charity analysis of statistics on domestic, this is one of the studies. The charity analysis of statistics on domestic violence shows the number of men attacked by their wives or girlfriends is much higher than thought. It is reported that domestic violence, the male prospect status, domestic violence is often seen as a female victim, male perpetrator problem, but the evidence demonstrates that that is actually a false picture. Data from the Home Office Statistic Bulletin in the British Crime Survey shows that men made up about 40% of domestic violence victims each year between 2004, 2005, 2008, 2009. Now, these are older numbers, but I have some other information for you for the present day. But this is saying that there has been a history. Just wanted to show you that there has been a history. The last year for which figures are available is in 2006, 2007. Men made up 43.4% of all those who had suffered partner abuse in previous years, which rose to 45.5% in 2007, 2008, but fell to 37.7% in 2008 and 9. Similar or slight large numbers of men were subjected to several force in incidents with their partners, according to the same document. The figure stood at a 48.6% in 2006 and 7, 48.3% next year, and 37.5% in 2008 and 9. More than 1 in 4 women, 28%, and around 1 in 6 men, 16%, had experienced domestic abuse since the age of 16. These figures are equal to an estimated 4.5 million female victims or domestic abuse and 2.6 million male victims. In addition, 6% of women and 4% of men reported having experiences in domestic abuse in the past years. Okay, so estimated at 1 million female victims, domestic abuse is 600,000 male victims. So 1 million females 1 million females are victims during this time, whereas you have 600,000 males that are victims. Keep in mind, women are overall the more so the victims, but you do have men that are victims. And I believe that the number would probably be higher than that, than men that are experiencing abuse from their girlfriends or spouse, because men, we just don't report these sort of things because it's seen as weak and not manly, and we're supposed to suck it up. So that's one of the things I wanted to show. I wanted to talk to you about there. Let me do this and put this article in the chat room right now. This will be dropped into the chat room so that you can study this. You can look this over. I believe in being a fair broker here and giving you information that you can dig up and look up for yourself, and not just going with something out of the thin air. So I want people to check this study out. There you go. I popped that in the chat room a few times, and hopefully you were able to see that. Let me pop that in there again. There we go. Now, this is what I want to also show you before I get to your personal thoughts about the situation. I may convene a panel and have people come up that would like to come up and give their opinions. This issue is bigger than just Jonathan Majors. I'm going to say it right now for the record. If he did do this, then he needs to pay the price for, I don't think a man should put his hands on a woman. We're stronger, muscular. We can do a hell of a lot more damage when we do this type of thing to women. And there are women that can do some damage to men. It has happened. But I think the best thing for a man to do when he's involved in a situation like this is get away. And I think the best thing that a man can do is when he ever has thoughts of striking a woman, he should stop himself and just leave. Leave the situation before the situation becomes more explosive and more dangerous for you and the person that you're with. And I'm sorry, I think if you're with someone and you have a volatile relationship with them, you should end this relationship. Which gender is more likely to be an abuser? One study of 96 cases of domestic abuse recorded by the police found that men are significantly more likely to be repeated perpetrators and significantly more likely than women to use physical violence, threats, and harassment. It's not that women can't do this, but overall men, as I read to you in the years past, it was over 1 million women that were been abused, and there's 600,000 men that were being abused. So men can be a victim of this, but certainly women outnumber us as men when it comes to this abuse. What I'm trying to show you is that this isn't about no ritual. We are so quick to jump on this is about a Hollywood ritual. No, this is about things that happen to people in relationships. Relationships are very complicated. Now, this one, you may be very surprised that I'm going to read to you. Who is most vulnerable to gender bias and violence? Who has the highest rate of abuse? Check this out. I didn't even know this until I looked this up. Multiracial women. So women of multiracial background, meaning mixed race or biracial race, women experience the highest percentage of intimate partner violence, according to the United States Department of Justice in the Center for Disease Control. Says that white, black, and Hispanic women all occur the same rate of this violence. So you've had people on YouTube say that every 9 minutes, black women are being deleted by black men. I'm going to shoot an arrow through that because it's not just black women that are being abused by men that they're involved with, but it's actually white women, black women, and Hispanic women. So guess what? When you sit up there and you say, well, black women are being abused by black men, white men are abusing their women as well. All of the race of men who are abusive men. This is the key word. Men who are abusive all engage in this sort of behavior when they are a abusive man. You cannot blanket and say, well, it's all black men that do this. No, it is black men that are dysfunctional. don't know how to control their emotions, do not have principles and values that will abuse a woman. It is not all black men. So we have to get out of that type of thinking right now. Because the data shows, you can look this up for the United States Department of Justice and Center for Disease Control, that when black women, black people, white women, white Hispanic women are all victims of abuse. And it is true that every 9 seconds or 9 minutes, it doesn't say that it's black women that are the only ones being deleted by their lovers. It's women in general across the board, which means women in general are dating all types of men of all different racial backgrounds. But what we do on YouTube, or people do on YouTube, is they take the words that fit the narrative that they want to push out and say, well, it's all black men that are doing this, when it's all men across the board. Then we forget to mention the fact that there are also men that are being abused by women. There are women who escalate problems in relationships. There are women that will escalate a situation. But we don't want to talk about that because that's not a popular thing to talk about. Jonathan Majors, as we may laugh at him, when you get that label put on you, that messes up your whole career, no matter whether you're an entertainer or not. This may ruin this brother's career, whether we agree or disagree with him taking this Ebony shoot for the Ebony magazine, whether we didn't like that at all. This is the difference, ladies and gentlemen. This is what put black men in jail. Tone Talk talked about this on his program, that we get too caught up in the racial aspect of this. Okay, it's with a white woman. And we know the history of black men when they're engaging with white women, that they can be accused of things that they never did. But black men are being put in jail and in prison for things that they did not do. And even if they did do something, the charges are chumped up compared to their white counterpart. Let me give you something that you probably have all forgotten about. Can anybody in the chat room tell me who this man is right here? This is about truth today.
Tell the truth.
And I appreciate everybody that's here. That's Dana White of the UFC. He's the one that runs and owns the UFC. The mixed martial art fighting, or what have you, UFC, that a lot of people like. Have we forgotten? This is why you know that there's always a racial component to everything in America. Anyone that tells you that there is no racial component in America, you must get away from them. White supremacy, racism, which equals white supremacy, is always a reality. See, Dana White, remember last year? Dana White got caught in an IHOP breakfast. He went to IHOP, International Pancake, House of Pancakes, with his, I believe, girlfriend. And he put hands on her. How many of you remember this case? If you remember what I'm talking about, I want you to put a 7 in the chat room. Oh, this is not it. Jonathan Majors gets into a domestic situation with his girlfriend, who he said himself, and then he gets locked up or handcuffs put on him because of his involvement with this woman. Something that he should get himself out of. It ain't worth it. This man right here, Dana White, he got caught up in a domestic dispute with his girlfriend, and he struck her where everybody could see it. He hit her. And nobody said anything about Dana White. The double standards, ladies and gentlemen. Dana White. I'm not bringing this up to say this is an excuse for Jonathan Majors to put his hands on a woman We don't know what really happened until they come out with the video. However, he said through showing text messages that he didn't do this. We're going to go over those text messages today. You see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, what a shame this is. Jonathan Majors is being raked over the coals in the media, losing opportunities, possibly. They're probably going to put a hold on any movie projects that he was due to participate in until they find out this has happened. It's going to cost him money in the courts to clear his name. And then again, when you are a black man and you are accused of something like this, it really doesn't go away. Even if they say, hey, he was innocent of all these things that his girlfriend was fibbing about or wasn't completely honest about, because he's a black man, it's still gonna hurt his reputation. It's still gonna hurt whatever he's got going forward. You see, why would a black man want to engage in a ritual? It doesn't make sense. The goal in Hollywood as an actor is to make money, to gain superstar fame, to earn money, to act and get more roles so that you become a megastar. The goal is not to say, okay, I'm going to participate in a ritual where I'm going to get caught up with my girlfriend. So now I look bad and I lose movie opportunities and advertising opportunities and all sort of things. And that doesn't make any damn sense. We got to get our minds out of conspiracy theories. We know that Hollyweird is just what it is, Holly weird. We know that Hollyweird is just what it is, but it doesn't make sense for him to do something that would ultimately ruin his rise, or his rising star, as they call it. Again, why is it that Dana White, who's a well-known promoter and owner of the UFC, why is it that Dana White beat his woman up, put hands on her, and we don't even know nothing about it? No details. He wasn't arrested. I don't think he was, it didn't hurt his career. People still doing business with him. And check this out, ESPN, all these sports channels who every time a black athlete gets themselves in trouble, or a black athlete like Kyrie Irving looks at a video called From Negro to Hebrews. Whenever a black athlete speaks their mind about what's happening socially in our society, they get demonized. When a black athlete gets caught up in a situation like, we remember the running back Rice from Baltimore, when he got caught on video striking his wife, he hasn't been in the NFL since. And I'm not saying he was wrong for what he did. I'm not saying he was not wrong. I'm saying he was wrong, but his career is gone. Dana White does the same thing, strikes his woman. Nobody says anything. Look at this article. You can look this article up for yourself on Sports Keys. ESPN employees asked not to write about Dana White's slapping incident. ESPN employees, listen to me, are asked not to write about Dana White. Right. They were asked. Dana White is in a sports. They report everything on ESPN. If LeBron James says something that they don't like, they report it all day, every day. If LeBron James was to put his hands on his wife, they report it. Dana White slapped his girlfriend, and ESPN employees were asked not to write anything about it. Even Stephen A. Smith, the raccoon himself, gets up on his bully bullpip at ESPN and he talks all type of jive about all the black athletes, but he even took I'm not going to talk about it position, because his handlers told him, Boy, you better not talk about it. Leave this white man alone. He's off limits. Now, look at this right here. Check this out. I'm going to read this to you all. ESPN recently came under criticism for not addressing the recent slap incident involving Dana White. See, I'm being honest with y'all today. Dana White and his wife. So it wasn't his girlfriend. It was actually his wife. While White and his wife were caught on video. Remember, Rice was caught on video on the elevator with his wife. And I think everybody in the chat room, going to get to your discussions very soon here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Information Man show and experience. Dana White slapped his wife on camera. Nothing has happened to him. Brother Rice, who was a running back for the Baltimore Ravens, was caught on video. He got in trouble. He's not in the NFL anymore. Every time black athletes or anyone black gets caught in a pickle, it basically hurts their career. His wife were caught on video. He was caught on video slapping his wife on video. Each other person accused ESPN of not covering the news due to their partnership. Check this out. Because ESPN has a partnership with UFC. This is the bull crap right here, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Doesn't ESPN have a partnership with the NBA, a partnership with the NFL, and they still will say anything about black athletes when they get themselves caught up in some type of indiscretion? Put a 7 in the chat room if you know I'm telling the truth. ESPN writer, editor Jeff Wagham, I can't pronounce his name properly, has now made a stunning revelation about the company's take on the scenario. According to Wingo, employees were told not to write anything incendiary regarding the incident on social media. Here is the actual, you can look this up for yourself. Here is the writer for one of the writers at ESPN. This is his legitimate Twitter handle. We've been told not to write anything incendiary on social media about Dana White's situation, and I understand why and have obeyed by that. I have abided by that. I just ask you all to understand that some of us at ESPN do not have as soft a take as on this domestic violence situation. So you see, in American society, there is one standard for the black man, and then there is one standard for the white man. And then we got Negroes on YouTube that will make excuses for white women, as you already know, who will get up on their podiums and say that black people make up slavery, that we make up things that happen to us, that we exaggerate. And Negroes will defend this white woman, but then they forget about what's really happening to the black man in this society when there's a double standard between what happens to black men like Jonathan Majors and white boys like Dana White, who has no pushback. We don't hear anything about an arrest record on him. No mugshot, no pushback, no nothing. But as a black man rises to a success and gets out of his car for a Hollywood premiere with his woman on by side, maybe that's where Jonathan Majors went wrong. Maybe he should have had a fine black woman on his arms. But then again, Brother Rice had a black woman on his arms that he was married to. And when she and him said that they were both wrong, this is the key. Brother Rice, who played for the running back for the Baltimore Ravens, his wife later came out and said that Not only was my husband wrong, but I was wrong too, because I escalated things too. As I said before, there are situations where both sexes escalate the situation. Even though the wife came out and said that I escalated it too, they still made Rice pay the price. So maybe Jonathan Majors picked wrong in who he's involving himself with, or what it had. I want y'all to answer that in the chat room. What it had mattered, even if he was with a black woman, like you see this brother here, because we have certainly seen situations where NFL athletes have gotten into domestic disputes with their black wives or girlfriends, and the tables are still turned on them. And this, once again, is no excuse for domestic violence. What do you all think in the chat room as I quickly will come to you? We'll convene a panel. There's something that doesn't make sense about this, because remember, he put out tweets from this phone as him and his girlfriend, who wanted to put his ass behind bars, she turns around and changes her mind and says this. Now, the verdict out there right now is that we don't know, is this real? This is what was put out by Jonathan Majors' lawyer, where Jonathan is showing and exposing the text messages. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to jump out the window, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that these text messages are legitimate. The girlfriend says, please let me know you're okay. Remember, Jonathan Majors is the one who originally called the damn police.
Tell the truth.
According to reports. She says here, this is the girlfriend who put him behind bars, as you can see right there, with the handcuffs, and she's on the side. Please let me know. Please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me, meaning she's saying that they assured her that you will not be charged, but they did charge him. They did charge him. Jonathan Majors was charged with misdemeanor assault, aggravated harassment, and attempted assault and harassment. That's what they charged him. So she sits up here saying, they assured me that you would not be charged. Now, this happened to him in New York. You know how they feel about black men in New York. Come on now. They had stop and fricks in New York, where they were fricksing black men looking to see if we had drugs and weapons, while the majority of the people who had the drugs and weapons were the white boys that they weren't patting down.
Tell the truth.
They assured me that you would not be charged. They said they had to arrest you as a protocol, but he was the one that called the cops. So who's telling the truth and who's lying? What do you think, folks? If you think that Jonathan Majors is telling the truth, put a 7 in the chat room. If you think that his girlfriend right here is lying, put an 8 in the chat room. And I know some of you out there would say, well, the Negro got what he deserved. When you lay down with dogs, you come up with fleas. You are entitled to your opinions. She said they had to arrest you as a protocol when they saw the injuries on me. You notice when they saw the injuries on the white girl, Negro, you're going to jail. And you got a lot of black men in jail over stuff like this that they might have been innocent of. But like I told you, when a man reports that he's been abused, the police laugh. They don't believe. If the woman has any injuries on her body and the man has injuries, in general, they're going to take the man in. According to what she said here, that's what they did. They saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. So if they had a fight, why weren't they both arrested? Why didn't they both get arrested?
Tell the truth.
Why didn't they just both arrest them? They're both fighting, so both should be arrested. Then she goes on to say here, this is the girlfriend, blue eyes and blonde hair. White women have been black men's kryptonite for years. Crystal Trinidad, good to see you over here, my sister. Good to see you over here. She says, I'm so angry that they did this, and I'm sorry you're in this position, which is probably going to hurt his what? His pockets. He's already lost the campaign ad that he had with the military. They've deleted him out of that, and God knows what other things that he was supposed to, that he signed on to, movies, television, or even commercials. I'm so angry that they did this, or they did, and I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. Ladies and gentlemen, why do people in these relationships start grabbing people's phones and all this goofy stuff that goes on in these relationships? I mean, it's enough that you got to laugh to keep from crying. I mean, what's really going on? Remember, there's always phone grabbing and I bet you this ain't the first time they've had a back and forth with each other. I'm just saying. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. Just call me when you're out. I love you. I love you. Oh, Jonathan, I love you, Jonathan. Jonathan, brother, if you would take my advice, the information man show advice, get the hell out of this relationship. I guarantee you it won't be the first time or the last time that it's happened. You need to get out of it. If you are at fault, you must pay the price. But if you are absolutely right that you are the real victim of that's being accused of abuse, but you are the main victim, brother, you need to end the relationship right away. Right away.
Tell the truth.
Right away. You got nobody to blame if you're staying in this relationship, this hostile relationship. The last part of the tweet, they just called again and checked on me, and I reluctantly, reiterated how this was not an attack, and they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. What did I say before? You put your hands on a white girl, as a black man in this country, married or just a girlfriend. They don't care if the white girl recants the statements. We saw what happened. We had Emmett Till, who was lied on, and that white woman's still alive today, and she took back her words, but too late, because Emmett Till is no longer here with us. So you want to take back your words, and they say, no. This Negro put his hands on a white woman, and we put white women on a high pedestal to not be touched, especially by a Negro. And remember, we had a lot of black folks on YouTube putting a certain white girl on a pedestal. Isn't this interesting? Cultural conditioning. They still determined that they were going to charge him with a misdemeanor assault attempted assault, aggravated assault. They trying to throw the book at Jonathan. They're trying to throw the book at him, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't have my blessing on any charges being placed. Well, they placed them. I read the paper they gave me about the strangulation, and I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. Jonathan's already been charged. The judge is definitely going to be told this. She assured this to me. I knew you have the best team and they're nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can. Black man, you got to get out of this. If this is all true, Jonathan, you got to get out of this. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. I also said I tell the judge to know that the origins of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out, and you're worried as my partner due to our communication prior. Out of care, she promised all will be relayed. So apparently she was collapsing and passing out. Does this mean that there was alcohol involved, that she was drunk and out of control? And maybe Jonathan was trying to get this woman in control. And therefore, because she was in a drunken stupor or drunk, that this is how it all manifested itself? I don't know, folks. What do you think in the chat room? We'll have a discussion. This whole thing is, it's a shame. But black men like Jonathan, they got to make a better choice in the women that they bring into their life. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he did do this and he's lying, then I'm sorry, he's going to have to pay the price under what the law says in New York, and he'll have to pay the price to his career being hurt. But it just also, it goes to show you that when you are a black person, especially a black man, it doesn't matter how much fame you have, who you are, how many movies you're in, what kind of superstar you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Creed 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They'll still see you as just another black man and arrest you. That's the lesson that should be learned here for all, and for Jonathan especially. He didn't get the treatment of a Dana White, as I said before, who beat or slapped his wife. And all the news, all the sports news and the news out there said very little about it and never held him to task and never plastered his face all over the media. They never demonized Dana White. They were told not to write about it at ESPN. They kept it under wraps, claiming that it was a domestic dispute that they shouldn't get involved in. You see, that's the double standard. And there's a double standard in Hollywood. We can't be surprised by any of these things that happen. These are factual things that do happen and go on in our society. Let me put this back. Let me put myself back up here like so. And I want to share something with you all real quick. Share screen. All right. All right. Now you see this right here. I'm going to read these off to you real quick before I bring people up on the board. Domestic violence statistics for horrific reality. Every 9 seconds in the United States, a woman is assaulted or beaten. That's all women, not just black women. A lot of people took that statistic and they ran with it for, oh, it's black men on black women. No, it's all women across the board. It does not justify it. It does not make it right. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of severe physical violence by an intimate partner. Who experiences domestic violence? The uncomfortable truth: nearly 20% of marriages and intimate partners will experience physical violence, according to the American Association. You also have people that lie. Let's just keep that in mind. You do have people that lie about what happens to them too. On a typical day, there are more than 20,000 calls placed to domestic violence hotlines. That's a shame. Women between 18 and 24 are reportedly the most vulnerable to partner violence. I'm going to put this in the chat room. This is statistics these statistics are good as of 2022. So these are the most updated statistics. I did talk about statistics in the past, but now I'm giving you updated stuff here. See? So I'm giving you sources, unlike a lot of people on YouTube who just say things out of their mouth, but never give you any sources, so that you can reference it for yourself. So the most domestic violence is between women in their 18 and 24. That's crazy. Only 34% of people injured by a intimate partner receive medical care. Further injuries. Wow. Why women stay? Only 34% of people who are injured by intimate partners receive medical care for their injuries, and even fewer get law enforcement involved. That's right, because you have women that will sometimes say, the man will say, do you forgive me? I love you, baby. I love you too, baby. And this shit just keeps going on and on and on. And this doesn't mean that you don't have men who are not being abused by women, and then the woman apologizes, and then you have that good makeup sex and stuff like that. That happens, and people go on in these relationships that are dysfunctional. Even fewer get law enforcement involved. Just 27% of physical assaults perpetrated against women are reported to the police annually. The National Violence Against Women surveys reveals this. 45% of females that are, I can't use this full word, so I say are. 45% of females that are victims, you know what R is, victims, were R'd by an intimate partner, meaning someone that they already know. And let's not forget about the violence between lesbian couples. See, they say that statistically that women that are in relationships with women have some of the most highest domestic dispute and domestic abuse problems, even higher than the domestic problems between a man and a woman when you have two women in relationship. 24 to 40% of police officers' families experience domestic violence, in contrast to 10% of families in general population. Wow. Families that have a police officer. Wow. Not only are abusers, friends, and colleagues the very people victims will turn to for help, but the abusers also own a weapon, which research shows increase in risk of a homicide by 500%. 19% of domestic violence involves a weapon. How the cycle continues, 10 million children are also exposed to abuse as well. The presence of a weapon in the domestic situation increase the risk of homicide by 500%. 1 in 15 children are exposed to an intimate partner's violence each year. These are terrible things, and gentlemen. These are terrible things. These are terrible things, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to drop a link in the chat room. If anybody would like to come up and have further discussion with me, I will look at what people are putting in the chat room and read their chats. Let's see here. We have AK says, as as of last Sunday, she had already been proven to have lied about being strangled, yet no one has reported that. Well, we're reporting it right here. Like I said, I've already made it clear to the audience tonight that I personally believe that she did lie on him. I think the text messages that his lawyers released, I think they're legitimate. I think she was, and you heard me read the part where she said herself in his text messages, if they are legitimate, I think they are, that she was collapsing. I think the woman was drunk. I think that's what happened. I think that she was drunk under the influence, and he probably was trying to get her under control. And because he was trying to get her under control, and she was out of control, she struck him. And he kind of had to get control of her. He's a muscular guy. He had to get control of her. And then he calls the police because he's got an out of control girlfriend. And because I'm going to keep it real with you, because she's a white woman, he's a black man. They saw some bruises on her because maybe he had to get her under some control. They put him in jail. They should have been both arrested, or she should have been arrested as well, when he said that, hey, I'm also a victim here. And that's the scenario that I believe. This is the scenario. I'm going to make it really clear here. That's the scenario that I believe is true. Now, you all in the chat room may have a difference of opinion. Jill's Chocolate Boutique says exactly. Deborah Gunn report said they had just left the bar. Right. And if she's admitting in the text message that she collapsed, what's the one thing that can make you collapse? Deborah Gunn? Drinking, intoxication, having too many drinks. And when people have too many drinks, they're not in their right mind. They do silly things. They do goofy things. They might even hit you when you're trying to get them under control. They took a taxi. It all makes sense. They took a taxi because you don't want to drive and drink and drive. And of course, in New York, everybody takes a taxi. Brother Keith is in the house saying, my sister Peggy Roster, thank you for being here. Looks like my man Aaron Collins is coming up to join me. All right, brother. What's up?
What's going on there, my man? What's going on, chat? No, this is really, like you said before, this is really not a surprise. And especially in the industry, and you know, I work in the independent field. One thing I've been always a big advocate of is independent filmmaking. I mean, in other words, you have the Hollywood system and their way of doing things because they have a certain structure and a certain set of rules, and it usually does not screw up to begin with. And coming from a historical perspective, I mean, there's a lot of times these white girls have done things to get black men in trouble. I mean, there's even an expression now called white girl wasted, meaning that when white girls get drunk, they have a tendency to get really wild and really, really out of control. But yet, they're still looked at as the epitome of femininity and the damsel in distress, which is the one thing that has always gotten black men in trouble. Matter of fact, you took the words right out of my mouth, but historically speaking and presently, the white woman has always been the black man's kryptonite, and yet some of these same DeRusso dudes still go to her and uplift her as the beauty queen, which has been proven over and over again. I mean, we just got through seeing a few weeks ago, like you said, with a certain content creator in Britain who's actually laughed at our history and our oppression and slavery. That is not the case.
Aaron, you're exactly right, brother. But I'm trying to read Donna just being real. It says information man and time too between each text message. Text message. Are you talking about the links that I dropped in there? I dropped those links again because I don't see. Are you talking about my ticker below? Trying to figure out what she's saying. The ticker below is just saying, you know, subscribe to the show. It has my my Cash App in there. If that's what you're talking about, my sister. Let's go back. Aaron, how do you think this is going to continue to hurt his career? Because we know how this thing turns out. Hello. All right.
It's a strong possibility that it can. I mean, because the fact that he's starring in 2 major films right out now, you know, Creed 3 and Ant-Man Quantumania, and like you said, he's really, well, he is kind of just now rising, but he's actually been in other stuff before, like Lovecraft Country and The Harder They Fall. These were some pretty big films too. But like you said earlier, you made a real good, interesting point that they can only raise up one black man at a time, and
right.
He's basically, as in the expression, the new magic Negro, so to speak. So
right.
They don't want to let him get too big. And of course, when a white woman is in the equation, you know how that can go south anyway.
Right. Because even if it comes out, even if she's saying, well, he didn't do anything to me, there's still going to be people out there that was just the excuse they needed to, like, say, you know what, we're not going to do business with him. But I gotta be fair here too. I hope that he didn't do anything, you know, because I don't condone any man putting his hands on a woman. But I do believe that, you know, you're in New York, you're at a bar, you're taking a taxi. I believe that those text messages are her text messages where she's saying that she was out of control and collapsed. And I think however this comes out, he got to get away from her. You just can't be with a woman like that. If she is the perpetrator of getting him in this mess, and it is reported that he called the police probably because he needed help to get her under control, and then bam. But I hope that is the narrative that I'm saying. I hope that's the truth. You know, we got a goddess Nikki here. What's going on, sister? Let's hear from you. Unmute yourself, sister. We want to hear from you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to believe what I'm seeing right now. I just see that there's a lot of things that they're doing to our people,
yes,
which is causing them to be put in the spotlight and basically trying to destroy our images as much as they can. It's just a lot going on. And I'm just not going to say that I truly believe that he's doing all this stuff. He could be. But I think it's just a little bit more sabotage involved.
More sabotage?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Now, I did open up in the beginning of the program today about this whole, you know, when things happen to black people, it's always about some ritual. And I tried to make sense of this. Why would a man do something that actually can hurt his career, hurt him economically, as his star is starting to rise? That doesn't make any sense. But I also know that they do things to bring us down when we're rising up. We do know that.
Yes.
But I don't think anybody like him would willingly participate in something to have his career put in jeopardy. That part doesn't make sense to me. But I can see how someone would want to sabotage him from rising up in his career, you see?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go and say this also. It could be like, okay, you know, the white woman's voice has always been the gospel truth in this country. So basically it could be a case of because I'm white and I say so. So we already know that happens as well. Even if
Right.
she is lying, if she is guilty, and even if she made up the whole thing and they said it, basically it's because, well, I'm a white person in America, I have privilege and you don't, and I say so. And
Right.
like you said, implement. If he is in fact guilty, yeah, well, I hope I hope they deal with him the way they need to deal with him. That's if he is guilty, though. But
Right.
I mean, this whole thing, it is very sketchy. So, yeah.
Right. Brother Rob had asked a very good question. He has said that Jonathan Majors have a history of domestic violence, and no, there's been no report. And you know that if he had, let's keep it real. You know, if he had a history, they would have dug it up, because every time black people get ourselves in any type of pickle, they dig up everything about her, all the way back to your elementary school days. They'll dig everything out and expose everything. There's been no reports of him having the history of this. But the truth of the matter is, when you're a black person in America, you don't have to have a history of anything. All you have to do is have someone accuse you, and they'll stick to you like a stain. Now, if the text messages are correct, that she tried to tell the police that it was all her fault, that he didn't do this and do that, and they told her, well, we still got to arrest him. And it gets back to my question before. They both were, if the police admitted that they both were involved in a domestic dispute, then both should have been arrested. That's if they both took part in this, right? Now, obviously, if he was the main perpetrator, then of course they're going to arrest him. But she's taking back everything. But this is typical. I got to be honest here, folks. This is typical when black people get involved with white folks. When black men get involved with white women who do this sort of stuff, they'll say stuff about you, and you get stuck with it. And then they want to take it back and say, oh, well, we've seen this throughout history where white women have said things that weren't true. They took back their words, but it was too late because the black community was destroyed. The black man was destroyed. People were hung. Communities were blown up. Now, this isn't the same as that, of course, but still, what she did could blow up the spot of his career. If he was not the main perpetrator, if he was the guy trying to get her under control. So anybody have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, if he was out of control. I mean, trust me. I mean, I do sometimes I do security at the gym, and I've had to actually break up fights and people getting drunk and alcohol was a factor. And it comes to dealing with people of a vanilla complexion. It's almost like you almost have to walk on eggshells. Any little thing and then keep on the spotlight.
Right. You're kind of breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. You must be traveling somewhere. You're breaking up a little bit. Well, you are breaking up. Let me read this by Donna Just Being Real. She says, videos don't lie. The text messages is not enough to clear his name. The witnesses, the lawyer said he will prove it, then bring it out. Right. There should be a video. I'm glad, Donna, that you brought this up, sister. There should be video in the taxi car because taxis have video. There should be the witnesses that they claim that they have. Why don't they just bring these people forward, have these people come on television, do a press conference, and put this stuff to bed? What do you think about that? Anybody can talk on that.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me better? Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be the legal system. They're supposed to be the justice system, and then they can administer actual justice. So like you said before, it's always been a double standard between us. There's black justice and there's white justice. And it has not always been fair when it comes to us because we have always been deemed as the boogeyman in society. And I'm talking about not just black men, black women, but mainly I'm specifically talking about black men because this is what the topic is. And black men have always been the villain I mean, the movie, The Birth of a Nation, that black men being the villains and the monsters. We always want to R words, their women, and N words, them in society. So even if we're completely innocent, we still have that jacket on us that cannot be removed. And the funny thing, I did not even know this about Dana White. You brought it up. That I did not know. So that goes to show that, yeah, that they did do that best to keep that under the rug. So the fact that you brought that up,
Right.
I mean, that's one word of it.
Yeah, I want everybody to look up that Dana White situation that I was talking about, where he was in a international IHOP with his wife. He slapped her. It was caught on video. And then they went and told the ESPN that does everything they can to talk about black athletes when it comes to the negative things that they may get themselves caught up in. And they were told not to report anything on Dana White because the ESPN has a contract with UFC. But they have a contract with all these leads. They talk about black athletes left and right. So and this was kept under wraps. It wasn't just ESPN. You didn't see most media outlets make a big deal out of it. His name wasn't dragged through the mud. That's why I made that contrast that there is a double standard in how black people, black women, black men are treated in this society when we find ourselves in some type of trouble where someone's accusing us of something. And once again, I must say this to everybody for preference. I'm not saying that a man that puts his hands on a woman should get away with it if he in fact did it and they prove it. So if they come out with that video like Don is saying and everyone in the chat room is saying, and the video shows that he was the aggressor, that he was the perpetrator of everything, then I'm sorry, Jonathan Majors has to pay the price. If he had put his hands on a black woman, same thing goes. He should pay the price. Under the law. But the law doesn't work that way for us. Remember I brought up Brother Rice, who played for the Baltimore Ravens. He got caught on video with his wife. She did the same thing. She came out and said, hey, I also did some things to him. Doesn't make it right. And he lost his football career, even though his wife came out and said something in his behalf. Dana White slaps his wife, gets caught on video. Nobody says anything. That's the point here. It's amazing to me how this stuff works. Sister, let me see. I want to see if she has anything she wants to add because she's been quiet. You've been quiet, sister. You got anything you want to say? I want to, anything else you want to touch on?
Y'all know what it is. This is how it is. It's never change. It's never gonna change. They're gonna always have something to do to us or treat us unfairly because of who we are. And that's the bottom line. And that's what I'm seeing all around here. Not even just this incident. There's many more incidents that we need to cover. I gotta sing you something. As a matter of fact, I don't know. You probably saw this stuff.
Well, send it to me again if I might have missed it. Go ahead and I'm always open to any interesting
You're gonna be
information that you have.
You're gonna be infuriated about this shit. But I'll send it to you in a few seconds. Okay.
Yeah, let me take a look. What's going on, Kenja G? A lot of great people in the chat room. Let me read some more comments here. We got, let me see here. Robert Nelson says they are smearing his name on purpose. He probably turned down a executive info. He looks like a casting couch situation. Well, it's Hollywood. Anything's possible in Hollywood. Brother Rob is here. He says, remember the WW that had the wrong apartment? Yeah, she had the wrong apartment and she claimed she had the wrong apartment and she, I think it was Baton John. She deleted him while he's eating ice cream if that's what you're talking about, Brother Rob. Let me see another question here. We got, Simeon. She says, he clearly has a history. Are you just going to ignore the real elephant in the room? No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he has a history. If he, sister, if he does have if Jonathan Major has a history, of domestic dispute, bring it out. I don't know his history because I haven't heard them. Let me just ask everybody in the chat room, because I haven't seen any reports where they've gone into detail about Jonathan Major's history of domestic dispute. If he has a history, please, mods, drop a link. Let us know where we can find it, because I have not seen any articles that I have discovered, should I say. Has anybody in the chat room put a 7 in the chat room? A 7. If you have found information that shows that Jonathan Majors has a history of domestic dispute. She says here, are you just going to ignore the real elephant in the room? Clowning and buffooning at the best. Do better. You never want to actually do better. Now, once again, I need people who know the situation better to let us know what that situation is. If you know that this isn't anything about cooning. I'm not cooning. I said it very clearly, and I've said it 1,000 times. If he is guilty of doing these things, then he deserves to pay the price. Everything that happens to him. I'm not condoning it. If there is evidence that Jonathan Majors has a history of this kind of behavior, show us the receipts. I have not personally found those receipts as of yet. Naps, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm glad you came up.
All right. Let me say this, and what's up to the chat and to the panel and everything. I don't know much about this situation, but what people need to understand, because I know the sister brought up the word history. I don't know what she meant by that, but for me, as far as history, is anyone else gonna come out of the woodworks? That's the history. That's all you need to know. Now, to me, when things like this happen, it could be, and I'm not saying it's right, obviously, but it could be a one-time thing. Maybe things got heated. The Rihanna Chris Brown situation, perfect example. All right, and there's no history of Chris Brown really doing any violent things towards women. All right, I mean, when you look at that story, I mean, they got into a big argument. From what I understand, I guess, they got into a big argument and fists started flying. And of course, Chris Brown's a man, and we know what happened next. But if there's no history of him doing this to other women, then I think he should be okay, especially if the recording that's supposed to come out is in his favor. All right. And as far as the rituals and stuff, not everybody in Hollywood is in weirdo in weirdo activity. You mentioned right. Denzel, Ice Cube. He's pretty popular. You've never heard anything about Ice.
But you know what they have what they have in common. Ice Cube's married. You notice that most of the black actors in Hollywood who are married and they're not on that weirdo type stuff like Denzel or Ice Cube, they're married, they got family, and they're not on that weird type stuff, and you don't really hear about them in scandals because they already not on that weird type stuff. You know what I mean, Naps?
That's true, but Will Smith is married.
No, but I'm not. No, but that's what you just reinforced what I'm saying. Will Smith is on some weird stuff. Look at his family, right? His family is weird. Jada's weird. That's why I preface this very carefully. I'm talking about black people in Hollywood that's married, but they not on that Holly weird stuff. Smith and Jada are completely on Holly weird stuff.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
So it is, but again, I think it helps them. Like when you think about people who are in these scandals, like let's just look at see, these are things that you can't keep. You can't sweep stuff like this under the rug. If he has a violent past, unearth itself some type of way.
Well, check this out, Nappy Yankee, and everybody listening. I just did another Google search. This is what's happening. Jonathan Majors, there's a lot of fact checking about whether he went to Yale. Yes, he did go to Yale. Jonathan Majors went to Yale. History of abuse, violence allegations explored. Check this out.
Okay.
Rising Marvel star Jonathan Major has become a centerpiece of the recent controversy in Hollywood after he was arrested on Saturday, March 25th on charges of assault and harassment. As words of the arrest spread online, several directors and actors who attended the same university as Majors started commenting on his pattern of social pathology or right, and abusive behavior. Actor Tim Nicolai took to social media and revealed that people in New York City and Yale communities are well aware of Majors' behavior. Jonathan Majors pursued fine arts at Yale School of Drama. Okay. He Connecticut and graduated with a master's degree in 2016. He starred in 5 separate plays produced by David Griffin, School of Drama at Yale. Now, check this out. Major was featured in productions at Yale Repertory Theater. Now, the allegations against Lovecraft Country, which I think was one of his main movies that he was in, STAR, have shocked people on the internet. Authorities did not get hold of any concrete. The authorities have not gathered as of yet any concrete evidence of these allegations, so it remains unclear as to whether the claims are true or not. Several actor filmmakers comment on Jonathan Majors' past abusive behavior. Broadway actors, so people are coming out and saying things, but the authorities have not found any shred of evidence so far to reinforce what people are saying. So let's just keep it real. You might have people that's hating on him, didn't like him in school, hating on him, or you may have some of these people that are telling the truth about him. But if these things are true, then you would think by now the authorities would have been able to gather data to show that he has an abusive pattern and show the evidence of that. That's where it stands right now, Nappy Yankee, Real Aaron Collins, and everybody listening in the chat room and in the bushes. What do you say, sir?
All right. If there, again, hard evidence will, if it's true, hard evidence will eventually come out. People don't, the rumors and hearsay from a few haters that I guess are trying to bring him down. I mean, he's a star in Hollywood, but he's not one of the major stars in Hollywood. So I don't see why a couple of haters are going to bring him down. But
right.
And
Nappy Yankee, we must preference this because I don't want nobody saying that this is the preference.
Right.
This is the preference here. Some of these people that are accusing him that he went to school with, see, it doesn't even tell you how many people. It could be 1, it could be 2. We don't know if these people are either telling the truth or they're lying. It could be either way. They could be telling the truth or they could be lying because they're hating on him. It could be either way. However, this is where I'm willing to land my sword again. The authorities have said so far that they haven't found anything to corroborate those accusations against him allegedly by people that went to school with him or a person or two, because we could be talking about 2 people, 3 people, but it hasn't been found out. I just want to remind people of that before someone says that we're trying to condone domestic abuse. Go ahead, Naps.
And it's as long as other people don't come out, and he's not the only person who's got accusations. Listen, Joe Brown just got accused by a black woman, by the way, that he did some improper things. But that was one person. All right. Again, if more people come out, then he's in trouble. What killed Cosby, it wasn't the people think that this all happened just now and just a couple of people. No, this was like
Naps, your mic's coming in and out, brother.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, now you're better. Now you're better.
Yeah, like with Cosby, people think, oh, they just do all these women here, and all of a sudden, no, this was boiling up. This was from 2000, and from what I heard, even before then, they did a whole Philadelphia magazine interview back in 2005 of 13 of the women. So if it's something like that where there's smoke, there's fire, yeah, he's in trouble. But with this, it may be a Chris Brown, Rihanna situation. They got into a big fight, and again, being a man, he's gonna inflict more damage, and he's just got to weather the storm.
That's true. That's true. Brother, why I have everybody still on here together, brother Youssef, what's going on, brother? Give us your opinion as to what you think is going on here. We're going to preface it here. This program today, if he didn't do this, we know why black men get arrested when white women get us in trouble that we get ourselves involved with. In some cases, we don't get ourselves involved with. They want to take it back, but we still pay the price. Or if he did this, he's wrong. If he didn't do this, he was on the right. He said that he called the police first. I believe personally, Brother Youssef, that the text messages where she's giving this apology and talking about how she's telling them that he didn't do anything wrong and that she had collapsed because they went out for drinks. So somebody was drunk that night or a little tipsy in a cab. We know the cab will have video, and they're saying that there's witnesses to show that he didn't do anything. My position is that if he didn't do anything, then she should be held accountable. He has to have enough sense to get away from her. I also went over domestic violence statistics today on my show. I wanted to give a good balance that these are things that do happen to women. And we also know that there are men who have been abused by women that never report it for obvious reasons that our society, if you're a man and you report these things, you're seen as weak. But it doesn't negate that the fact that women are the biggest ones that are perpetrated upon at about 100 million, where it's 600,000 men that have been perpetrated upon by women. So it's not equal. And a sister was in the chat room and she tried to call us out like we weren't trying to be balanced up here. And I read an article. I looked up something that said that there were some people who jumped out the window saying that he was abusive when he was in college, but that's not been confirmed by the police in their investigation so far. So either these are people that are telling the truth or they're hating on him. And we know that we live in a society where black men 9 and 10 times get charges chumped on us. And so there's a lot complexities to this, but what do you got to say, brother?
Well, thank you so much for having me up. I literally woke up from a nap. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, Aaron and everybody on the panel and, Information Man, thank you for having me. So I've been listening for the last 40 minutes, right?
Oh, okay. Then you know what's going on.
Yes, sir. And so I feel like, rather it's true or not, one of the first things that we could discuss as black men is how important it is. Hey, Jada, how important it is for us to consider what we're going to do. Let's pick our poison. Let's pick our battles. When they say choose your battles wisely. So we should be picking our battles wisely, knowing the scrutiny that we're up against, knowing the way of the world and things of that nature. I mean, we should be considering, well, if something happens to me and it's with a black woman, this could happen. If something happened to me and it's with a non-black woman, this could happen, and things of that nature. And so you have to really consider, and I feel like people keep ultimately choosing outside of their community. So it does put them to proximity to other things where social paradigms need us to have a certain collective unity. So, that's like, it starts with who you give birth to biologically, but that all that becomes social and all that stuff too in the real world once it gets here. So I feel like, if we will be considering the fact that we are black men, we do have it twice as hard. People will take the bucket and run and lie on us. So why would we keep on putting ourselves around those people, places, and things who are going to be those very triggers, and who's going to be those ones who return? That's a conflict of interest. And a lot of them keep coming to it like it's some appeal. oh, they see a pale female, they think, oh, you know, this is the allure here for me, but they don't consider the fact that Carolyn Bryant, they don't consider the fact of the history of the lying white woman. You see, they're more further about the history of the black woman who they don't see eye to eye with. So pick your woman.
Right.
You keep picking the wrong woman in the wrong battle because you already born into a war.
Right. I mentioned that earlier, that Carolyn Bryant, who lied on Emmett Till, just like her and her text messages, if you believe those text messages are legitimate, I think they are, talking about, oh, I tried to tell him this, but it's too late because now you've got this black man in a bad situation. However, you're right. Black men, and let me say peace to Feminine Melanin University in the house here. Thank you for being here, sister. No, you're right. Black men, we have to pick better. We have to make better choices, and we have to understand who we're getting ourselves involved with and what is the history, right? And once again, if you're in a relationship, because I don't believe this is the first time that he's had some discrepanary situation with this woman, you got to get out of it. Any dangerous relationship where it becomes domestic, violence in that relationship, whoever's putting out, you got to get out of it. It's bad for it's a bad situation. And I don't think, and this don't get me wrong here, brother. This is bigger than a Jonathan Majors, because I went over statistics today. This is bigger. This is a problem that we have in our community, a problem that we have in America. Because let's keep this right, and let's keep this real. I'm not going to sit up here and be unauthentic. We do have domestic issues in the black community where black men are putting hands on black women. And there are some black women that are putting hands on black men. There's a small number of men who are abused by women, but don't report it for the obvious reasons. But we have these problems. So even though we want to look at Jonathan Majors and say, well, see, this happened to him because he was with a white girl, we can't negate the fact that, yeah, he was with a white woman. They got some issues going on there. But we can't negate the fact that we also got issues in the black community around domestic problems and black people harming one another in relationships, in marriages. We cannot deny that. It's easy to just to say, well, it's because with a white woman. It could be with anybody that ain't the right person for you. What do you all say to that?
I want to mention something that you were saying something that black men got to do better. You know what? You said something that hit the nail right on the head, because like a lot of these manosphere types will always want to target the black woman and say, well, you should have picked better. So that also goes for you too, brother, that you should pick better as well, because you deal with something like you said. You deal with some fucking women who are historically and presently
Aaron, I think because you're walking around, you're outside and you're walking around, that you got the wind blowing, and that's kind of causing all that extra sound effect. Because you're out and about. Nah, it's kind of difficult.
Turn the other way, Aaron. Face the other way.
Yeah, turn around.
Right there.
All right, start talking.
I'm sorry about anyway, I was saying that historically and presently, what I'm used to, historically and presently.
Nah, brother, no, Aaron, it's not working. It's too much. See, he's out in the elements. Everybody, you're out in the elements. It's just too much noise, and what's happening is it's affecting people from hearing you clearly. He's out and about, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the real world, the real elements. What's going on? The real question, everything. What's going on to that, brother? He will be on the platform soon. We're going to have a deep conversation with the real question, everything. This brother is deep, has land out there. I think he's out there in Georgia. Man, he's doing some fantastic things. We're going to have him on the channel very soon. And there was somebody else. I want to say peace to. Go ahead, Naps.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Naps TV.
I just wanted to respond to your example with Dana White, and obviously,
okay.
Most of us saw the video, and yeah, he was what he did with his wife. Understand that he's in a position of power, right? And it's a little bit different. And again, I bring it back to guys who have some type of power and have who are making some type of money for certain people. I'm not, and keep in mind the racial element is still there. But again, I
Yeah.
bring it back, Bill Cosby. Okay, I mean, people will bring up this ridiculous argument. Oh, they're not going to let a black man get away with doing what he's doing. Well, he was making money hand over fist for a lot of people. So
Okay.
basically, they anything wrong you do, they're going to get swept under the rug. I remember Michael Jackson back in the day. I mean, he's been talking
Mm-hmm.
about hopping into beds with little kids forever. But he was, again, we know what Michael was doing. Again, I'm not saying the racial element isn't there, but Harvey Weinstein. I mean, if those audios didn't come out, he probably wouldn't be in prison. But that
Right,
dude
but this is the
literally
thing, Naps. You're
so,
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's a power dynamic. Those are men who have power.
yeah,
Jonathan Majors doesn't have power, although he's an actor and he's been in a couple of movies that everybody's been talking about. You're right about the power dynamic, but keep this in mind. When have white men never had the power dynamic, brother? And
well,
matter of
and
fact,
this
you
is
can make an argument that even when you're not a white man with power dynamics, you still stand a better chance than a black man does in the
true.
same situation.
Yeah, I mean, there is again, I'm not saying that the racial element isn't there, but with the Nate situation, um, yeah, unless other stuff comes out with that dude. I mean, again, Trump. I mean, I can go down the list. I mean, that dude should literally he should have gotten the Cosby treatment based on everything that's come out on him, but no. So again, it's there. I'm look. There is a power element there with a lot of these guys.
I agree with you. There is a power element, but
Yeah.
I agree with that. There's a power element. There's a racial component to these things, but you know as well as I know, Naps, that, and I'm not saying that you're not agreeing with me or nothing like that, that anything that black people do, we don't get the benefit of the doubt when we are accused of something, right? Like I
Right.
could be accused of something. That's why, like, for example, and people are going to probably think this is crazy. This is just the truth. In my career and my work capacity, I do my best. When you hear about abuse on work or sexual harassment at work, I do my best to not engage in touching people, men or women. I don't do any of that patting on the back and way to go kind of stuff. No. You know why? Because I realize I'm a black man, and if it gets misconstrued, I'm screwed.
Yep.
Now tell me I'm lying.
You're not
Tell the
lying.
truth.
These are
Now,
facts, and this is why you would have to consider that in our choices of the people, places, and things that we have in our lives. We're not preparing ourselves for anything that we know can happen to us. We know that the nation is hell bent against us. All the more reason to not be choosing non-black partners, in my personal opinion. And then even when you choose a black partner, you have to choose one that's the right type of mindset. Because we know that we might have to defend each other and have to be there. So we should be focusing on building. We know how bad domestic violence is the issue and could traumatize a man or a woman. So we should be focused more on that issue and that point of it being wrong and stopping it. And then we can start sorting out the fact that it's going on, and it's even worse when you're doing it to your own. People can't even see how bad it is when you're hurting your own people, because we're already just naturally victimized. We're just in that spot and we're just staying there instead of, you know what I'm saying, really being strategic about the way that we breed, strategic about the way that we work through corporate racism, strategic about the way that we break the chains. Instead of doing that, people so willy-nilly thinking that everybody and anybody is going to be for us. All you got to do is come up to a black woman and say, hey, you beautiful, and she'll fall under your control, and you can trick her to do anything. But guess what? The same thing with a lot of us. The same thing with a lot of us men. Non-black people can dangle anything in front of our face like a carrot in front of a rabbit, and we'll fall for the okie doke and then be reaching back for the black community that we didn't really want nothing to do with to begin with.
and you know what else too, and this is something that people just gotta come to grips with. When you get to a certain level, some of these guys are just they're in a different world where they don't really think about race like us folks in the bottom. Like, look at Rich Paul, for example, LeBron's manager and the owner of that sports agency. People were looking and like shocked at how is he just choosing to date Adele and all this other like but I'm like, okay, this hasn't I'm not saying it's right. And I understand what you're saying, brother, about thinking strategically. These guys aren't thinking like that, bro. They really aren't thinking that way at all. All right. They're thinking, I guess race is not really affecting them that way, and they're looking at it from a different power dynamic until they get in trouble. Now, when they get in trouble, obviously it's a different story. But they think of things a lot different. They just have a different mentality when they come to a certain level, unfortunately.
Hey, Naps, can I ask you a question too and add to that? Because they're not even paying attention and trying to hope that it gets better for ourselves and working on it, because you could really just know that you're about to get in trouble, but still have the community ready to lie for you, ready to die for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially when you rich up there, if you get up there, you so big or you so rich where racism ain't an issue to you, then as soon as it affects you, y'all should have systems to get y'all revenge and everything right away. If anything, the coons should be getting their get backs, but they're not. So that's how I know they're just stuck in a position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because
right.
you got the resources to get Whitey back if he hits you.
Well,
Let me
when you
let me
say
read
they got resources, but they don't have as much resources, bro. They have resources more than you or me. But whenever I hear people say how this person's a billionaire, that person's a billionaire, I mean, whites are pushing in trillionaire status. Okay,
No, that's no excuse. They're afraid of their masters, sir. I hear you, but they're afraid of their masters.
I hear you.
Yeah, people
Can
are
y'all hear me
afraid
better
of.
now?
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron. Make some statements, brothers, before I get ready to end the program pretty soon. Go ahead.
I was trying to say earlier that how a lot of these manosphere types like to say that, well, she should have chose better, and that also goes for you too. This is a perfect example that he should have chose better, because historically and presently, women from the vanilla complexion have been the death of many of us. And I'm basically listening to what Yusuf was just saying. Yusuf, you just hit the nail right on the head as well. That when it comes to all the rich among us, those who have money, because you hear it in the rap music, I'm borrowing, I got gold, I got hoes, and all that stuff. Okay, so when you get in trouble, you should call your homies. You should call as you call, and I hate to use this word, but you should call your hoes and all these other folks that you think are in your corner when they're really plotting against you in the first place because they want to take your place. You should call them to come and bail you out. But that goes to show that even though you do have the money, all the finances, all the resources, you will still be looked at nothing more just another N word to the dominant society. And back with the situation with Dana White, someone else hit the nail right on the head that he's a man with power. Not to mention, they also have the media in there in a way to where they can manipulate it to benefit them and to demonize us.
That's right. Let me read this by Carlton. Let me see. Carlton made a good point here, and someone else referenced this in the chat room. Carlton Way 1. Black people have a different set of rules. For example, there is no law that says I can't jog at night, but the unwritten rule says I cannot. That is facts. I agree with that.
Tell the truth.
I agree with that. There's the law says that we have the right to buy a home where we want to go, that we should have the right to jog down the road like Ahmaud Arbery. But the unwritten rule says, Negro, you got no business here. That is a fact.
But where's the spirit of justice for these types of people? Because like even for Ahmaud Arbery, all right, his family might get some money or some reparations, but I mean on the real back end, what are we doing energetically? What are we doing sociologically and strategically that, not only that if it happens again, but like, for them to get their justice, it's like they're in the same system. It's like no matter what, we got to call the ones who want to hurt the black man and the black woman if we have a dispute in our own community. Like we need to be the front line of defense for our own stuff. And so, hey, Water Sniper.
Yeah, let me read what Water Sniper is saying here. Water Sniper I've known for quite some time. He says, Water Sniper money got those kind of simple-minded black people thinking race is not a factor and I'm getting all this money. I'm around their circle. Interesting. Another thing, this is a brother right here. I got to say this again. This brother right here is a businessman. He owns land. He's building things on the land. He's got homes that he's got built. I mean, we're going to show all of that when I get him to the channel. This brother right here shows you the real question, everything. He shows you how you can make money. He's not a person who's just talking about it, but he actually is doing it. And he makes this point here. He says, you can't tell grown people what they need to do with their money. You go and do it. That's true. You can give people advice, but at the end of the day, you got to get out there and do what you got to do. We can always encourage and advise people, but whether they're going to take that advice is another thing. Which one says, great comment, so very true. Yeah, very, very true. And I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
A young one in the back singing. But definitely subscribe to the channel. And we do this like this all the time on Sundays and sometimes during the week. Before I end this, Naps, do you have any last statements you want to make, brother, while we're up?
Well, all I have to say is maybe we got to ask ourselves why, if this keeps happening to us, why do we keep trying to join into this system and acting like it's going to change? I think we should make a habit of supporting people who are trying to do it independently. Like you see some of these guys on Instagram or on YouTube. There's this one dude who I saw, this comedian, goes by J.1.8. I saw him once. He did this amazing, he was doing Umar impressions. It was funny as hell, but he just expanded. Then all of a sudden he just blew up to 100,000 subs. And I'm like, wow, now he's at 300,000 subs. And I
heard about that guy.
Yeah, and he's doing real numbers too. I mean, not no fake, 300,000 and like 1,000 a video. No, this is like a real YouTube channel. He's good. And my thing is, some people are out there doing it independently per se, and there's enough technology out there where you can do it independently. So instead of going through this and reading another story about how Angela didn't get an Oscar, she got screwed, and these guys, you may have to go through the Baphomet and all this other crap, start supporting independent people. I'm actually sub to this dude's channel. He's pretty good. Just look at people who are doing it independently, so that these stories, when you see them, and again, as I said, a lot of these guys that get to a level, their worldview is a lot different than ours. Support them. And this is just a good way to keep us grounded.
Right. You're muted, Info Man. We can't hear you, brother.
And you're muted.
Oh.
You're muted. And I'll put his.
I'm back. I just want to shout out people. I just want to shout out people. A few. Yeah, you can put his link in, and also you can put your link in the chat room. Y'all should check out Naps TV. Let me ask you a question. Are you going live tonight, or when the next time you're going live, Naps TV?
I got some, I'm trying to plan some other things. As far as I want to speak, I haven't spoken about it, but the guy from Dilbert, I want to go through it from a Don Lemon perspective, because I think that the fact that he spoke on Don Lemon, but I think I'm gonna wait to see what happens with our boy Trump. All right, I think people think that he's getting arrested. I'll see it I'll believe it when I see it, because I really don't believe that they are going to put handcuffs on this dude. I think the optics are too bad, but we'll see. I mean, I'll be shocked if he is in fact handcuffed. We'll see what happens. And
they said that he's gonna get. They said that he's gonna get booked, but I doubt if they're really going to put it on television and let us see him get booked and see him in a jumpsuit and do the perk walk. I don't think they're going to try to embarrass him like that, because they know there's people out there that's waiting to see that, and they don't want that type of photo op image. Now, if they do that,
say this: the Democrats, it's gonna backfire on them, Because
Yeah, it will, because it's gonna fire up his base. But
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you. This is New York. It ain't like this is in New York. Anything's possible. I would love to have that picture of him being fingerprinted, the whole mug shot. I want that. That's $1 million picture.
yeah. I tell you what, but again, I think it's going to be shocking. It's not only it's going to fire up his base, but I get the political world in itself. I think it'll hurt the Democrats. People are cheering about it, but and I don't care. I mean, if he gets arrested, he gets arrested. I'm just saying.
Right, but keep this in mind. Donald Trump's base, it will fire his base up, but guess what? His base still is at 30%. Donald Trump's base has not expanded. The last I checked, they said that it's still at 30% and it doesn't expand. So you're just going to get the same group of people who were down for him before. And you know what they got to do? They got to cheat in the election and do all this cheating and suppression, voter suppression, what have you. But both these political parties ain't worth a bag of fries anyway. Nope. But let me shout out a few people. We got Naps TV, who's up here today. We got Pator Afro. Peace to you. Oh, we got Brother Max. We got my man Max V World Media. Make sure you check him out. He goes live a lot during the late night, during the week. He has great content over there. He says, be careful talking about Trump. YouTube banned me for 7. What? Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Max, come on up and talk to us for a minute before I end the show. I need to hear you tell the people this, because I went to your channel and I noticed your videos were missing, man. What happened to all your videos? I thought maybe you were doing like inventory. You can do that where you can remove videos, you can add videos. I thought, okay, maybe Max is going to start doing some new content and he just wants to move his old content out or something. But I went to your channel and I said, where is his videos? Maybe he said he got banned for 7 days for talking about Trump. Are you kidding me?
Well, they bringing that back. They used to always do that. I know I sure drug them last week. I better lay low.
So wait a minute. So then they should be able to take people down for talking about Biden then.
And we should be able to bring people down for mentally manipulating and trying to social engineer black people.
Max, I need you to come up, man. He said his page has been ruined. Now Max has built his channel to 25,000 subs. He does a lot of popular content, especially the content on Carvination and Nature Boy. That brought him a lot of views, a lot of hits over there. And he still has his numbers, but it looks like they've wiped out his catalog of videos, which means even though he's got 25,000 subs on the channel, having all your catalog wiped out, you might as well be starting a new YouTube channel all over again.
The attack on freedom of speech is real, but it's really real with us because, see, they pick and choose on who they want to attack and whose freedom of speech they want to take. So we got to take that into consideration as well.
Right. Did I put the link in the chat room? I want Max to come up. I want to hear him tell the people what happened.
Well,
and make sure y'all give him some support.
I'm smoking. I'm going to drive back down and keep listening.
Hey, Yusef, tell everybody about your channel, man. Tell everybody about your channel.
Well, I got a channel too.
All right, brother. Yeah, go check them out and give everybody the name of your channel.
It's Tea in the Teal Kitchen with Yusuf. Yusuf is YUSUF. Tea in the Teal Kitchen. Or you can just always look for the Ratchet Today Show or the Teal Kitchen. But
okay.
This discussion is as always needed. I do still be watching. I appreciate you for supporting me, Info Man.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yes, and everybody. Hey, Max, peace to everybody. Y'all do a good. I subscribe to as many people as I can find, and please subscribe back. All right, peace.
Okay, brother.
Hey, real quick,
right, that's you, man. Go right ahead, brother.
Be careful talking about Trump because I'm talking to people on the back end from YouTube right now. I had to go to Twitter to reach someone. My page is gone, bro, and I didn't even.
Wait a minute, Max. Okay,
The
I
only reason
went.
why
I
I'm
went
getting
to
my
your.
page back is because I'm talking to a live person. But
Okay.
I pretty much told the people that he was getting ready to get indicted, and I was repeating what the news said, and they said I was spreading misinformation, and they took my page down. So there's an algorithm where if you say Trump and stuff like that, because they're afraid that something is getting ready to break off. And I was talking to someone, they was like, "Yeah, we apologize that that happened to you, but it's a security issue." And yeah, man, they banned me for 7 days, and I
Well,
didn't
wait
even
a
do
minute,
anything
Max.
wrong.
I went to your. Let me get this right. I went to your page the other day ago, and I noticed that all your videos were gone, and I was puzzled. I was like, "What happened to all his videos?" Then I'm thinking, well, maybe he's took all his videos down because he's going to because people do this. I thought maybe you're going to reorganize your page or something, because
Right,
people do that. I thought, okay, maybe he's in the process of reorganizing his YouTube page,
right.
not realizing that they had snatched all your videos. Tell me, is that true? All your videos were snatched off your channel?
Well, no, the videos are not gone. I will have my channel back Wednesday. They'll give it back to me Wednesday.
Okay, so
But
once your channel is reinstated, all your videos will appear on your channel as was before.
yeah, then I can put
Okay.
them back live. But
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah, so what happened was the computer, I thought someone flagged me. They said, no, no one flagged you. They said the AI program that listened to our voices, they caught me talking about Trump. And that's what happened. And I don't know about God don't like ugly. God ain't got nothing to do with this.
Now
God
I need to
definitely ain't got
figure
nothing
out
to do
something
with
right
this.
here. Right. This guy right here, Don, this guy emailed me because he's saying he has a lawsuit against Umar Johnson. And I said, are you you guys are familiar with Don? And I said, is this Don who was actually working with Umar? Saying that he's been suing him for 3,000 that he got ripped off. And the question is, I said, well, you got to send me some information, picture, or legitimate information that you are who you say you are, because people troll you on YouTube, right? You got
Right.
trolls. And I've yet to have gotten that email back with documents or proof that this is the person that I think that is Don,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
that
I
Don
know
is the
I
one
know who
that
that
owes
is.
money. So
Yeah, I
is
know
this
who he
that
is.
person?
Yeah, that's
Is
him.
this that person?
That's him.
He wants to talk about his story because he's saying that he's still suing Umar and that he feels like his story is not being put out there or heard.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, let me tell you
See,
what's interesting though. I talked to someone like if you ever have any problems with your channel, I can give you a link to go to on Twitter to actually talk to someone.
all right.
And
Do me a favor. Email it to me and Naps and whoever needs it. Email it to me, or you can IG it to me. I would love to fantastically have that connection. I
yeah, and they
appreciate
helped
that
me
too,
out. They
Max.
was like, my page is actually not gone. They just what they did was they just they banned me for 7 days. That's all it was.
Because you repeated what the news said. So
Well, no,
let's get this
I
right.
said something specifically. I was like, Trump is getting ready to get indicted, right? Which he
But he
did get
did get it.
indicted. No, but it
But he.
happened. I said it before the fact that he got indicted.
Well, let me just say,
Oh, okay.
Right.
like they've done that with and I'll just refer to it as the 17th letter. All right, where I did a video on that.
Oh, well, yeah.
YouTube actually, they gave me a strike. YouTube did that, and it was a real story about a guy who off his kids because of the 17th letter nonsense. It was out in California. Information, or you probably know the story,
Right.
but yeah, they gave me a strike. It was a real story already in the news, and yeah, this is how it can
Right.
be.
Anytime, this is what I learned the hard way. Anytime you do subject matters that involve adolescents, like I think I did a video about the situation that happened to the DJ who, deleted himself. And the minute I looked at the video and I said, the minute I talked about things that have happened to adolescents, that's when YouTube took the video down.
Wow.
So whenever you do stories that involve adolescents, YouTube is very sensitive. Even if you know what the hell you're talking about, they are very sensitive to the content when you're not a news agency or something like that. So it's definitely a double standard. News agencies and bigger channels can talk about these sensitive issues and they'll take us down. See, because you know that YouTube is not a equal player. They let certain people say things that they won't let us say, even though we're using the same information. So that to me is a trip, Max, that you were talking about the Orange Man.
It was hilarious.
You
I'm
were
like,
talking
wait a
about the
minute,
Orange Man, and this happened.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow.
what did I say?
I'm sorry about that.
You know how you appeal, then you lose the appeal. So
Right.
I said, let me at them on Twitter, and they got back to me. They was like, look, we're
Wow.
gonna look into it, and then they explained it. It was like, yeah,
Okay.
kind of falling in the lines of whatever it was, misinformation.
Right. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. Thanks for giving us the heads up. I haven't done any Orange Man content.
I didn't lose the channel or anything. It's just they got me what I call it on the YouTube streets. They had me in jail for 7 days. And then now look, I'm gonna be on paperwork until June. So the strike doesn't go away until June. So
Right. And when you get that strike, you'll probably have to watch this goofy. When you get a copyright strike, they make you watch this goofy cartoon about copy strike.
no, I got a misinformation.
And you gotta take a test.
Community guideline strike. I got a community guideline strike. Yeah.
Because when you get a community strike or a warning of a strike, they make you take a goofy. I had that one time. You had to watch this goofy video with it's a cartoon, and you got to answer questions like you in school.
I took that one. Yeah.
And it's got some goofy cartoon.
That was my
Go
first
ahead, real Aaron Collins.
I was gonna say basically it's like you said before that when it comes to us, they want to suppress the information because basically they want a bunch of sheep anyway, and they feel that the big three, NBC, all the alphabet news companies are the only ones that's qualified to talk about these events. But when it's really a smaller people, the degree of the ones who have the more information because we're not oversaturated with fake news and all this other stuff, and that's why they do everything they can to silence us.
Right.
Especially those of the melanated variety to keep us from getting the true message out.
Right. Because the news agencies, their news is curated and it's controlled and they're giving you what they want you to know. Whereas those of us on YouTube, we can be outside the box a little bit more. We can give our personal opinions. We can use statistics. We can speak to issues in a cultural way that is relevant to our people. And they don't want us thinking for ourselves. They want us to just think in that box that they want us. So you're right about that, Aaron. I appreciate those comments. So what's going on, DOD? Everybody in the chat room, Femininity, Melanin University, the beautiful Bernice, Max, thank you for being here. I see you in the chat room as well. Another CG, Just Licia, Chris Davis, Daryl Long, 06 to you frat, Earl Owens, Kendra D, and Don M, FGA Boogeyman.
Yeah, that's the guy that was suing Umar.
Okay, he wants me to interview him.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, he contacted me because he wants to get his side of the story out about Umar.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure that that's the real guy because I don't want to bring someone, if that's the right thing to do. Now, you guys know more about this stuff than I do, so I would use your advisement on this because you both know the deal a lot better than I do.
I don't know.
But he wants to get his story out because he feels that the situation with Umar and what Umar owes him is getting lost in the shuffle.
Oh wow!
But if he said if you got a legitimate lawsuit, then I gotta ask the very logical question: what's going on with the lawsuit? Do you got the right lawyers? Have you filed the right paperwork? if the man owes you money,
Is that like a small claims? Is he doing a
I
small
mean, I think
claims
it's
law?
probably small claims.
Oh, okay.
Don put in the chat room, it's a small claims because he's saying that Umar owes him $3,000. Is this correct, Naps TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know y'all don't want to get involved.
Oh,
I don't want to like.
it's not about not getting.
I don't want to speculate. I don't want to
I don't wanna-
speculate.
Yeah.
It's not about not getting involved. I mean, it's look, it's this was just Umar being Umar. I think that we people have tried to get to the bottom of this, and all I can say, I don't know if it's gonna. You're gonna start asking him some questions, right? I'm not saying that it's a false case; it's a real one. It's just
Talking to the mic, you're fading away. There you go. That's better. Talking to that mic.
You're gonna start asking him some specific questions, and he's just not. He just won't. He's not going to be very forthright. I'm not saying that it's a fake case, but I'm just saying that legitimate questions are going to be asked, and he's going to clam up.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, and the thing about the programs that we do over here and the programs that you all do, we want people to be honest. It's about truth, and if I'm asking questions and things can't be answered, then it's actually wasting time. If you want help.
Right.
And you want people to put the word out to help your story, then if you come on the panel or on the platform, you've got to be willing to answer hardcore questions to get people on your side to support your situation, brother. If you're not able to do that, then I don't have a kind of show where I cater to the bullshit.
Yeah, I can't co-sign them for you, so I'm like,
that's why.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
No.
But see, I'm glad that y'all came up because you guys know about these things, and I don't want to. I have a reputation to keep on my channel. I bring people on. You got to be willing to speak the truth,
Right.
and not if I ask questions and you say, "Well, I got." Then what are we doing here?
Right.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why they want to.
See, I gave Umar money years ago, and once I realized he was a fraud, no more money he gets out of me.
Well, you said he has what do you say again? He has superpowers. He has the
Yeah.
trick.
Umar Johnson's got superpowers, and his superpowers is his mouth and the way he's able to talk you out of every damn thing. And he's a good orator. Let's be honest. Umar Johnson says a lot of stuff that do make sense when he's talking about black history and what's happened to black people. That's how he's able to captivate people emotionally, because he says things that are true. Even when he talks about children and how our children are affected in the school system, that resonates with us, which reason why he's able to get money out of us and get a captive audience, because black people in general, we're very oriented to orators. Why? Because a lot of us have been influenced by the church and people who speak well, and it resonates with us. We love image and we love personality and we love symbolic symbols. So, but everybody, I appreciate everybody being here.
Thanks for having me on. Let me
see. Max, I want to say it to you again. I give you my sincere apologies that this happened to you. I didn't know what was going on. I saw that the channel had no videos, and I simply thought that maybe you were reorganizing your channel, because I've done it myself, and I was like, okay, he's reorganizing.
I was going to tell you they locked me up for 7 days.
Damn. Oh, but they didn't mess with your subs, right? They didn't take any subs away from you, right?
No, it's just the way they said, don't worry about it. It's only 7 days. It's only 7 days,
Okay.
The next time is 14 days, so I got to tread lightly.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Stick around for a little bit longer here. Okay. Don says that the story is bigger than small claims. Truth of what was he living in the school. Okay. And then he says this right here. The truth about what Max V did, about 20 videos on me. All right. Well, brother, you put yourself out there, letting the man get over on you like that. I mean, come on now, black man. You put yourself out there on Front Street with this man. What are we doing here? Talking about my case, or did we sleep in? Okay, bro.
Oh my God.
Hey, look, man, you came in my chat room a week ago saying that you wanted help with getting your story out there. And I'm simply saying if your story is legitimate, you got to be able to tell all the truth. But I'm kind of wondering, why is it taking this long for the situation to be rectified? That's just a thought in my mind. Well, let me get out of that situation. But Max, thank you for coming up, brother.
Thank you for
Let me
having me
see.
on.
Oh, no problem at all. And let everybody know where they can find you.
Well,
In your
as soon as I'm free,
as soon as he gets out of jail, everybody.
as soon as I get off paper, Max V World Media.
Max V World Media.
Yeah.
Remember, go over there and subscribe. If you go to his channel and you don't see any videos, don't trip. It's because he's in YouTube jail. And when they release him out of YouTube jail after 7 days, his videos will appear and he'll be able to live stream and upload and the whole 9 yard. I think Max.
I think I'm gonna take a lot of my videos on private. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Some of them that's
Right.
like kind of edgy.
Right.
I'm gonna take those videos down.
I'm going to be controversial here, Max. I think that they're doing this to you because you're black.
Tell the truth.
Man, I tell you, man.
I'm not laughing at your situation. I'm just, I think it's because you're black.
Man,
That's why they did that to you.
yeah, they got me.
You know how we are, black people. When anything bad happens to us, we always blame it on I'm black.
You know what? Though? You know what?
No, it's
I'm
true.
not talking politics anymore. No more politics. No more Trump. No more Biden. Nothing.
Yeah, stay away from
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I don't know. It's the way I come off, like my delivery or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm not talking about it because this is the second time they flagged me on a political situation. So I'm like,
Max, I have. I haven't done too many. I've kind of gotten away from political videos as well, like talking about these presidents like that, like featuring it all about them. But Max, I'm sorry, I got to tell you again, no matter what we do on YouTube as content creators who happen to be black, you got actors out there that say, I don't want to be known as a black actor. I don't want to be known as a black content creator. I'm a content creator. But anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you. As a black man who happens to be black, that's a content creator on YouTube, don't you know, brother, that anytime we bump our gums and talk about anything on YouTube, they will penalize us because we black.
I thought it was funny, man, because I'm trying to talk to them. I said, well, what did I say? They was like, well, give us the link to the video and we'll take a look. I said, you guys deleted it.
Max, did anybody tell you at YouTube that it was because you were black?
I wanted to say that to him. Maybe I should have said that. I think I'm going to talk about something safe. I'm going to do some safe topics like sports or something.
Oh, Max, this is what I wanted to tell you, man. I don't know if I've been thinking about this. Like, how you have the Coast to Coast channel? Yeah. I was thinking about, but I'm going to build a new audience. I'm not going to promote it to the audience. I'm going to build a whole new audience out of it. I was thinking about doing a channel on the same things because I noticed what they're able to get away with on the same themes, right? But I wanted to do a channel where I kind of question the conspiracies. I try to talk about what could be real, what can be on BS. So I'm thinking about coming up with this sort of channel like a Coast to Coast AM. And I'm going to do, and all I'll do is do uploads where I'm going to make the videos like 8 minutes, 13 minutes. And let's say, for example, when Coast to Coast have certain guests on to talk about certain things, I might critique what they were talking about and saying, okay, is this true? Is this bullshit? I'm thinking about doing that, but that would be for a complete different audience. And unless people over here would like that too, but I want to make it very mysterious. And I already have a name for it and everything like that, but I just haven't created a channel.
Channels as well that I'm doing, and one is sports. I'm like, I can be safe talking about sports. I won't go to jail for that.
No, you can't, Max. No, you can't because you're black.
I just want to say this. It's interesting you brought up conspiracies. Notice how those people tend to blow up, and YouTube is concerned about misinformation.
Right.
I don't know.
I bet you I could we probably could all blow up a conspiracy channel. But, you know, but see, this is the thing, Naps. I think this is the reverse of it. I think that I don't think they have a problem when you're telling people about UFOs and werewolves and portals, because why? They want people to be focusing on that stuff. But the more important stuff that's going on in politics, they don't want you to have an opinion about that, right? Because you're black.
or you, like you said, you can just you can question
Some of the things
from
that
the
I-
perspective of questioning it.
Right.
Get away with that.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Aaron.
some of the things that I talk about, particularly because of the industry I'm in, sometimes I do movie reviews on my channel, and I'm thinking about possibly even doing more of it because, I mean, as soon as I can get my oratorial skills up to par, I think I can probably do better with that because I watch a lot of movies and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it, it's Hollywood, but you know what? It's the industry that I work in, and that's what I do.
Oh, you're on.
Angelica's in the house, but looks like she's changed her name of her. Let me say peace to her. But gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to end the program now. I'm a little over, and I've got other things I've got to do. Life gets in the way. But Max, I'm looking forward to your channel coming back. Naps
Thanks for having
TV.
me on.
Let everybody, thank you very much. Let everybody know where they can find you, Naps, and let everybody know when you're going live again, man. I like watching your lives.
Tell them it's gonna, sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, tomorrow or Tuesday. I got to get a rhythm into doing it, man. And
You got to pick a certain day. If you could pick 2 days a week, 3, whatever was in your schedule, if you can pick 1 to 2 days a week and stay consistent to that schedule,
right.
you will really see things popping more on your channel. Your channel will pop more because people love the consistency, right?
Yes.
If you can stick to that and create that format, I know it's hard because life gets in the way.
Yeah.
But if people know that you usually go live on this day and that day, you'll see more consistency with your audience and stuff like that because they know, hey, Naps is going live at this time. He'll be live on this day at this time, and we expect to see that,
Absolutely. And let me just say to you, good job, you and a couple of other content creators about breaking the editing job you did and breaking down, early things and really bringing it home as far as what's going on. A lot of people are looking really dead out here, still like supporting her, but you really broke down, everything, chronologizing.
Oh, can't hear you, Naps. Can't hear you.
I said you did a good job chronologizing Burley things, and
Oh, thank you.
you were you and a couple of other content creators as well really hit the nail on the head regarding that.
Thank you.
That was a good job.
Thank you very much. But I'll see you soon around the YouTube streets. You take care of yourself, Naps.
Yes, sir. Have a good piece of the chat.
Oh, I appreciate you coming up too, man. Whenever you can come up like this and add to the content, we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you.
Yep.
Take care, brother. I'm clap for you. All right, Aaron. What we do, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, just as always, I appreciate your channel. And man, we as people, we just gotta do better. I mean, not just talk about it, but be about it. I know things are not gonna happen overnight, but it's like you said before, they try to suppress our channels. As long as we're heavily engaged in this gender war and going against each other, they have no problem with us. The minute we start talking about some truth, we start talking about some facts that's going to expose this wicked system, then they want to quickly rush to arms and shut us down. So that's why we need to be more unified than ever. And I know I've heard you say it, and I've said it myself. We can speak to we're blue in the face, but we just have to just go about doing it.
Right. Let me say we got DOD in the house who dropped a link. We got Max V World Media. Thank you for coming up again, once again. Naps TV, thank you for coming up once again. We got the Feminine Melanin Universe, beautiful sister. Beautiful. I think I'm now following you on Instagram. Clap to you. And Don, send me the information, sir, so I can look at your situation. If you can do that. I know you want to interview about this situation, and the lovely Angelica, I like that name. Jill's Chocolate Boutique, beautiful Bernice, everybody that's here tonight, thank you. Definitely do me a biggest favor and share this video. I was a little late with coming out with this video. This is more of those time sensitive videos. I wished I would have been able to come out when this was in the heat of the moment of the whole situation. Hopefully we'll find out exactly how this comes out in the wash. I want to say again that I do not condone a man putting his hands on a woman. I do not condone that. If he is found to be completely guilty of this, then he must pay whatever the price is he's going to have to pay. If it comes out that she lied on him and exaggerated, then she should pay the price. I think he should break the relationship up with her, get away from her. We'll see how this all plays out. Domestic violence is very serious. If you look at this video from the beginning, I went over the statistics and how women are abused, how men also get abused, but women at a very higher rate, millions versus men at a 600,000. Back in the early 2000s, they said 40% of men in domestic situations were abused, but those numbers have changed going into the current time that we live in. Women are still the biggest ones that are affected by domestic abuse. However, there are situations where men are abused by women as well and do not report it. All of it is wrong. All of it is wrong. We should not be hurting ourselves. And this issue is bigger than just Jonathan Majors, because we have these problems in the black community that we need to clean up and do something about. We have a lot of problems in our community that we need to clean up. We're way too damn emotional at times, and we lash out at one another. So with that said, I want to thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday evening. I'll see you around the YouTube streets very soon. Once again, share this video on your social media, your Twitter, your Facebook. If you are a content creator, do me a great favor by dropping this in your community tab. I would appreciate that. With that said, let's get ready to get on out of here, folks. Make sure you hit the likes. If you have not liked this video, go ahead and like the video. Appreciate you. Once again, Max, I'm sorry that happened to your channel. You'll be back on live again. Naps TV, Real Aaron Collins. Everybody that came up, it was a pleasure to have you here today. And we'll see what else I'll be talking about. I should be going live again on Wednesday night, and we'll see how this all works out about another topic for you. Everybody take care. Peace to you again.
Tell the truth.
Peace.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Information is power. Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Good night, everybody.